On the morning of January 6, 2025, at 11:15 a.m., a man named David Morrow was sitting on the balcony of his apartment, enjoying the view of the Pacific Ocean. As usual, it was just a normal day. Suddenly, about 5 miles away from his apartment, on the hills of Pacific Palisades, he saw flames with sparks rising into the air. In just 1 hour, the fire had spread so quickly that the smoke completely obscured the hills. When observed from a satellite view, the fire was first reported on the hills of Palisades, but within a few hours, it had spread to areas like Eatonhurst, Kenneth Getty, Scarborough, and San Fernando. At the time the fire started, winds were blowing at 100 kilometers per hour, heading from inland towards the ocean. This raised the question: if the fire first started in Palisades, which is near the ocean, how did it spread in the opposite direction of the wind, covering a distance of 30 to 40 kilometers? This fire has devastated a total of 38,000 acres, 150 square kilometers, destroying over 12,000 buildings and homes, and forcing 180,000 people to evacuate. This is the most destructive fire in Los Angeles history, and as of the production of this video, the fire has still not been fully extinguished. Despite efforts, such as water bombers dropping 45,000 liters of water at a time, the fire continues to rage on, with all attempts to control it proving ineffective. Special chemicals have also been dropped using water bombers, but nature seems unstoppable. California, already facing water shortages, often finds fire hydrants empty. Because the fire spread across 7 different areas, firefighters and their equipment had to be divided. And with winds blowing at speeds of 70 to 100 kilometers per hour, the fire intensified. Before we understand the reason for this fire spreading, let's look at the history of wildfires in California. According to data from the past 25 years, California has been a hotspot for wildfires. In 2003, the Cedar Fire in San Diego County burned 273,000 acres, starting on October 25th and ending on November 4th. In 2017, the Tubbs Fire burned 36,000 acres, and another fire, the Thomas Fire, destroyed 280,000 acres. The Camp Fire in 2018 burned 500,000 acres, and in 2020, the Glass Fire burned 67,000 acres. If you look closely at these dates, there's one common factor. Most of these wildfires occurred in winter months. The Los Angeles wildfire, too, occurred during peak winter. So why do most of California's wildfires occur in the winter? The answer lies in a phenomenon known as the Santa Ana winds. These are hot, dry winds that blow across Southern California and Baja California, especially during autumn and winter. On Earth, California's eastern region is mostly desert, known as the Mojave Desert or Great Basin. The sun heats the desert, which increases the air pressure there. On the other hand, the ocean air is cooler and has lower pressure. As we learn in 6th grade, air always moves from high-pressure areas to low-pressure areas, and the greater the pressure difference, the faster the wind travels. So, the hot, dry Santa Ana winds move from southeast California towards the ocean, drying up everything in their path. As the moisture is sucked out, the region becomes extremely dry, with trees and bushes becoming easily combustible. These winds not only turn the entire region into fuel for wildfires, but if a fire ignites, the winds push it further and cause it to spread rapidly. Ideally, wildfires should spread in the direction of the wind, but in Los Angeles, something unusual happened. The fire, which started in Pacific Palisades, close to the ocean, spread inland. This can be explained by another interesting phenomenon called the mountain wave rotor. The windward side of a mountain is the side directly facing the wind, and the leeward side is where the wind travels after hitting the mountain. When the windward side blocks the wind, a vortex effect is created on the leeward side. This causes the air to rotate in a circular motion. In Los Angeles, Pacific Palisades, where the fire was first reported, is on the leeward side of the mountain. The mountain wave rotor caused the wind to shift direction, pushing the fire inland, away from the ocean. Once the wildfire grows out of control, It can also give rise to some rare and dangerous phenomena, one of which is a fire tornado. This occurs when the intense heat of the wildfire causes hot air to rapidly rise, creating an updraft. The rising hot air causes a rotational motion, pulling in nearby dry bushes and intensifying the vortex. The fire tornado then creates its own wind system, making it difficult to predict its direction. However, it is most likely that the fire will spread uphill with the wind. Wildfires are a harsh reality, and with climate change, their frequency is expected to increase. Today, artificial intelligence is being used to predict the direction in which a fire might spread, and this information is shared with firefighters. They try to control the fire by spraying chemicals in the area where the fire is located to prevent it from spreading further. But in Los Angeles, while firefighters are controlling one area, the fire spreads to another area due to the wind. The first recorded wildfire in U.S. history occurred in 1871 near Michigan. That fire burned 1.2 million acres and claimed 2,500 lives. From the 1871 Peshtigo fire to today's Los Angeles wildfire, nature has been sending us a message that controlling fire is still nearly impossible. But if we try to understand nature and adapt to climate change instead of fighting it, perhaps the cycle of wildfires can eventually be broken.